Most of us have never stopped to ask, is the life we're running toward even what we want? Is it ours or is it somebody else's? At the end of this retreat, we want you to come home with a life you actually want to live, not just fun photos and fun experiences. We want you to go home with an actual plan because that's what's frustrated us about going to these things. We talk about all the things, but we don't have time to implement it. So then you get home and you're immediately back in your regular life, and there's no time to do the work that you were so excited to do.
So, this retreat is about 4 days to figure out what's working, what isn't, and what you only kept because someone else wanted it. Welcome to the Building Thinkers podcast. Today is a special episode. I'm joined by Katie Conley, my longtime friend. Katie's the founder of Cultured Concierge, a luxury travel advisory group, and the founder of the Adventurous Women's Travel Club.
Yes. Hi.
We have decided to bring our companies together. So, Building Thinkers multiplied times Cultured Concierge equals building a flourishing life, an intentional women's retreat. And so, in this episode, we're just going to talk about this project and where it came from, what our hope is for this, and some of the thinking behind this type of experience and why we saw it missing in our own career and just as women trying to figure life out. We couldn't find something that fit this need for us. So that's what this episode is about.
Tracy and I have known each other since we were 13. We have seen each other through all sorts of life seasons, and I think we've both struggled with career and what that looks like for us. We both went to college prep high schools that were intense and had very clear, pathways to what success looks like. In the past 4 or 5 years, we've both kind of took a hard look at our life and been like, "Oh, wait, this is not really what I want to be doing. I don't feel joy in the everyday career portion," and other aspects of life evolving and changing as they do. So I feel like both of us currently are flourishing in our careers and life overall. And I think for me, looking at the different wheels of life really helped me take inventory of where I was and make really good positive changes. And I feel excited about my career. I feel like I've created the work life balance that doesn't exist, but I have the time in my day to do what I want to do. As we've talked about the different areas of life and play and travel and money and career, I feel clear about what I want in all of those areas. And before we started recording this, Tracy showed me that on her vision board from 3 years ago was a trip to Costa Rica with her family, and I just planned that trip to Costa Rica, and she got back late last night. So, it's just really cool to see it all come together, and I think it really just proves, what you focus on becomes your reality.
One of the things that we intend to do on this retreat somewhere around the beginning is the wheel of life. And so we've kind of made this our own. There's many different versions of this out there, but we are going to use 8 different life domains in the retreat. And it just allows you to kind of take inventory and see and be like, huh, how aligned is this to what I want? And it isn't about saying there's like all this stuff to fix. In some cases, it's also about gratitude. I think it's a bit of a gap analysis, yes, for what is the gap between where I am and where I want to be. I do think that in this season, we can see enough now to share the learnings that we wish we had at the beginning, and then also recognize that it is cyclical and it's an ongoing learning process. And so we hope to get just as much out of the retreat as all of you all who may join us.
Definitely.
Our life design is never finished until we're no longer living. One of the things we recognize is that people that are in the mid stage of their career have learned a lot along the way. They've hustled to get where they are. And now it can be challenging to shift into this. I am not the worker bee in the sense that I was. I can still hustle, but it's from a different place. And I am orchestrating and architecting. And especially now with AI and our technology tools, I'm finding in my work, I've got to zoom out and sit in my notebook and think about all of those moving parts, think about where the friction points are. It is not like producing another PowerPoint, creating another piece of curriculum. It's the big picture of what's working and not working, and I think that's a big shift.
Yeah, and I think it's also super important as women to, like, make sure that we are bringing up other women along with us.
Yeah.
Yes, I can do everything, but my time would be much better off at this level, and I'm giving development opportunities to those with me.
Yeah. Ooh, that's really powerful. I just had a guest on the podcast that I recorded recently, and we were talking about this sense of feeling like everything needs to be hard because you've maybe experienced that or
Yeah.
you were taught you have to work hard to get to success, and success equals
Mhm.
happiness, right? Some sort of formula like that. And I don't think I'm ever gonna say hard work isn't important because I don't think that's true. But I think that there is a difference between kind of that addiction to continuing to think it has to be hard
Mhm.
and realizing and looking back at the growth that allows you to do the thing that is now easy for you. You
Right.
know, you don't tell it like a sculptor that creates this beautiful sculpture, you don't, like, haggle over the price of that and say, like, "Well, how long did this take you to do?" Right? If somebody can do something even quickly, you recognize the years that it took them to master that skill to create that output, and I think that this is important in the work we're thinking about now.
But I think it's just I think we're always so quick to discredit
Yeah.
our worth and our value, or to say like, "Well, I wanna be helpful,"
Mhm.
or, "I like doing it, so it's no big deal."
It's
And then
okay to enjoy your work and to get paid well for it.
the other thing that I see a lot of women in particular is like, "If it's not hard, I don't deserve the rest." In building that flourishing life and practicing the gratitude and doing the journaling every morning and all of those things, it's like, it was hard. It doesn't have to be hard all the time, and it will be hard again, but I don't think the, like, day-to-day struggle has to be what makes you worthy of your salary or rest or fun or that girl's trip, and so I think that is something that I'm seeing my friends struggle with, and I want to help them eliminate that.
Right. I think those soundtracks or like those
Yeah.
stories that we tell ourselves, I think unwinding them, like that's a part of this work that we see as a part of this experience and other things that we do. Katie, can I ask you some questions
Yes.
connected to the Building a Flourishing Life retreat that might help folks that are listening in?
Sure.
You've planned women's trips for 5 years. Why build this instead of another trip?
We have talked ad nauseum with each other about like, "Oh, I just went to this thing, and was it worth it? Did I get anything out of it?" Like, "Yes, but now I'm back in my life, and I didn't have the time to implement it." That's the part that was missing for me. I wanna get something out of this retreat, so
Mhm.
selfishly, like, I wanna do all the activities. I'm interested in continuing to build my flourishing life. We're making sure that there are cultural experiences, and there's rooftop dinners every night, and I want everyone to show up and know that everything's handled. I think as women, so often we are the ones doing everything and making sure people have packed their sunscreen and their hat and whatever, whatever. And I want the women in this group to not have to worry about any of those things. Just show up and we've got you.
So on our beautiful website, Building a Flourishing Life,
Yes.
it talks about reevaluating your life. Like, what do we mean when we say that? That sounds really big.
For me, it's like really stopping to say, is the life I'm living what I want to be doing? Are there things every day that bring me joy? It's the
Yeah.
really small moments. Like every morning we have a routine with our dog. She comes and like lays in between us on her back. It puts her feet up and like those things are I think what makes for a beautiful life and to pause and say like I want time to sit in my bed every morning and drink my coffee in peace and play my New York Times games with my husband and cuddle with our dog, and I don't wanna feel like I have to rush.
Oh, no.
That's what we mean when we say upend your life. It's not quit your job, go home with a new identity, but it's, like, really stopping to think, "Am I living my life or am I living the life of somebody else?"
It's interesting to me that so much of that is also rooted in neuroscience, just the like presence and pausing and how connected that is with gratitude. And the flourishing research out of the Harvard Global Flourishing Study speaks to that. And like when I think about the domains of life that we'll talk about, that one to me is also connected to mental health, of course, right?
Mhm.
That we can slow down, that we can be emotionally agile. And if we're always going off of like adrenaline and cortisol to the next thing, that's going to start to impact other life domains like
Amen.
physical health and relationships and stuff like that. But also it's just like in my perspective, like not how we're designed to be. We
Right,
are human beings. We get very stuck in all of the doing. And I think it just doesn't always have to be about the doing.
right.
Okay, Katie, what does a woman who comes to our retreat actually leave with?
Obviously, a wonderful 4 days of unique experiences. There are a few surprises, a new group of friends that are there to support, encourage you. Obviously, you get to hang out with us.
I
No.
mean,
You're not going home on Thursday dreading, like, "Oh, now I have a million more ideas that I'm never gonna implement." There's the time built in, there's those pauses, the reflections,
yeah.
and the fun. We want you to leave with a clear vision of what your life looks like.
You bring the customization of your own life. That's what works really great about this is like, yes, we'll have curriculum and stuff and to support you. I do learning experience design. I can't help it. There will be that. But the way that it's personalized for you is by you
Right.
because you bring your life design, you bring what's important to you. So if you want to focus a certain part of the time on relationships or on some specific area you want to like tweak, great. Like there's space and room for that. So I think it's that like actionability, the practicality that is unique.
This is not just, like, career focused. Like, if you feel like your career is in a great place and you love what you're doing, there are 7 other areas to focus on.
Yeah.
Or, like, Tracy wants to emphasize play more, so maybe that's all she's gonna think about during the retreat. So I think it doesn't have to be that your career is in a weird place. It doesn't have to be that your relationship's in a weird place. It can be that everything feels good, you just want it to feel better or
Yeah.
have more clarity.
Okay, Katie, who is this really for? Who is the Building a Flourishing Life intentional retreat for?
As women, we like everyone to rely on us. We like to be a support and be there for everyone in our household, outside of our household, friends, family, the PTA, whatever. So we want those women who are there for everybody else to take the time to be there for themselves. I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking about women in particular. It's not that we're short on time. It's not that we can't take these 4 days to really, like, remove ourselves from our day-to-day life and be present for ourselves. We're just short on the room. So we're not making the room to give ourselves this space. We need the room to think, to breathe, and to decide, like, what are our needs over everyone else's?
Mhm.
Because
You can't pour from an empty cup. You put on your own oxygen mask before the kids.
correct. These are the women that we're hoping to target. They don't have a certain job title. They're not necessarily a mom. I'm not a mom. They're not necessarily married. Like, they could be at any stage of life just feeling kind of like that there's more out there. So I want these women to feel like they can step away for 4 days, that we're gonna give them value and fun and relaxation and space in those 4 days, and I want them to feel totally taken care of so that they go home rested and re-energized to, like, implement their new flourishing life ideas.
You might not be into learning and growth activities if you don't want that piece, right? Like if you're totally satisfied and you wanna go, then you should instead maybe do one of Katie's
A women's
Adventurous
travel club
Women's
trip?
Travel Club. Yeah.
Alright, so, Tracy, we're gonna change up this podcast a little bit here, I'm taking over. I'm gonna
Okay.
be asking you
Here's
the
the ring.
hard-hitting questions. I hope you're prepared.
Excellent.
Okay, so from your perspective, why do these smart, capable women need to take this pause from their daily lives and get away to reflect on their lives as a whole?
I think that it's important because we need the time and space. And like, when do you just like sit at home and start doing a full reflection, like guided and supported on life? Maybe some of you, like, if you're into goals and into New Year's resolutions, maybe you do some sort of reflection at the end of the year, beginning of the year. If you like doing that, I do have a goal guide and you can get that. We'll put that in the episode description. And you can do kind of a mini version of some of what we'll be doing on the women's retreat. So that's a great place if you're not able to join us on the retreat, but you want to try some of the activities. That's a good spot. But also, I think the other piece is we're not designed to do this alone. I think
Mhm.
that women coming alongside each other in a guided space to share what they want to share, not share if they don't want to, but reflect. Sometimes it's like, as I hear Katie say something and I speak back to her what I see, it
Mhm.
teaches me, it encourages her, and that is part of, like, for lack of a better word, it's a great word, like, that is the love that we should sharing with one another, and even with, like, women that you come around who you don't know that well, but they share a piece of life.
Right.
So, I think that's a piece of what we're after.
As we kind of discussed earlier, a lot of the goals that people chase are someone else's dream. They're not necessarily something they've wanted for themselves, but maybe their parents or their educators. How do you help these women see that?
Yeah, one of the really interesting sentence stems that I like is, "I used to think, but now I think." And I see any of the work about around epistemology, which is a fancy word for, like, why we believe what we believe. So we have epistemology or stories about money, and no matter if you're, like, rocking on your 401k or you haven't really started or life came at you and your savings is gone because of a medical expense or whatever it might be, there are stories that we tell ourselves in all the life domains, but that's one that I think gets sticky for people. And so I think that you hold it at arm's length. That's what we want to provide you space to do. You might carry that same belief right out of the retreat, but we want to give you a moment to say, like, huh, is that really true? Or is that the story I've told myself? Or was that true for the Tracy in another season? And she doesn't need that type of hustle now. She needs a different, like, softer, like,
Right.
wiser Tracy to come into this next season. And so I think how we help someone see their sense of life design is by giving them space to say what really matters to them in this season. What have they learned? What brings them joy? And keep those things and even prioritize those things. Like, what would you keep if no one was watching?
Okay, so Tracy, I know that with any retreat, there are skeptical people. What would you say to those people that like they don't know what they're talking about?
You might be skeptical because you haven't experienced good learning design. You might be skeptical because you haven't had both sides of being taken care of and having the margin and space and fun for your brain to rest and reset and the support and structure of high quality reflection. I think that if somebody really, is not interested in doing any reflection, this is not the right retreat for them, right? So
Yeah.
there is also a this is not for everyone.
Tracy, my final question for you is if you could sell this retreat in like 1 or 2 lines, what would you say?
I would say that in this moment of dynamically changing kind of everything, that a lot of people are seeking clarity and they want to have agency over their life. So, if only people knew, they could
Mhm.
have that agency and that life design is a skill that can be learned, can be practiced, and I think works best in a community of other people who can help you see almost like different sides of like a prism. You can just like look at your life, turn it and look at finances, turn it and look at relationships and just think about, okay, how's it going around those things? And then be with other people who can walk alongside you and encourage you and have gratitude with you for that. I think that's what this is about.
For me, I feel like I am a very social person. I'm a Enneagram 7. I'm a Leo. Everything about me wants to just be with people. In the past couple years, obviously, I've been planning these events and that
Mhm.
community and that in-person connection is so, like, desperately desired. I don't think people want to sit on their phone and scroll. It's just there's not those invitations as there used to be. Like, we used to go out
Yeah.
immediately after work every day to happy hour, and sometimes that happy hour lasted till 1 or 2 in the morning. And No one's doing that anymore, and people are scheduling, "Oh, we can go to happy hour in 6 weeks." For me, it's so important to have that community, and I love connecting with other women. I love learning from other women. On my trips, we've had people ranging I've been the youngest at 39, and with women all the way to 82, and, like, there is still so much connection and
Like intimacy and depth
it's
and
yeah, you're laughing about the same things whether you're 82 or 39, like, there is a shared community, and I love that about women.
I love that. I think it's like the intentionality, right? The intentional design, intentional experiences, intentional dinners, and like even the number, we're capping this at 15 because we want to have an opportunity to connect with everyone, to have it be like small and intimate where you can know each other and share when you want to share and sit around a table together in a way that you can speak to almost everyone.
Yeah. So we hope you can join us, and if not, we still encourage you to build a flourishing life, whatever that looks like for you.
Wonderful. Katie, thank you so much for coming back on the Building Thinkers
It's my
podcast for the
pleasure.
third time. So, we will put all of the information about the Building a Flourishing Life retreat in the episode description. Again, like Katie said, we hope you can join us. If you can't, please share it with someone else that this may be a good fit for. And I've had a couple folks already reach out and say, I can't do these dates, but I would love to do it in the future. Our plan and strong desire is to do this again, so we do not think this will be the last one, but we are so excited about what all we'll learn and the women that are gonna join us and the experiences that we'll have, so
If you enjoyed listening to this episode and it resonated with you, please like and subscribe. It helps more viewers find us. And if you are so inclined, please leave a review about this episode and share it with a friend.